Well, greetings everyone, and welcome all you four-color fans to another one of my Tuesday special videos. I've been doing kind of an on-again, off-again series comparing a lot of the Marvel and DC characters and their similarities, or their crossovers, or their homages, or their creator kind of shenanigans. So this is kind of in that same vein. And today I'm going to be exploring the very, very obvious similarities between the Legion of Superheroes, which is on your left here, and the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, which is on your right here in orange. And so what I've done is I created this placard with the analogs of each other. Right now, the Legion of Superheroes came first, and I think this is what occurred. And I'm getting some of this from memory, but Dave Cockrum was the artist on the Legion of Superheroes in early 70s. I believe he did some even previous to when they changed the title, when it was just Superboy, and they were backups in his title. And he redesigned a lot of the costumes, kind of updated them, made them a little more futuristic, made the ladies' costumes a little more provocative, shall we say. And those costumes are, even to this day, some of them are still, or variations of them are still being used. By the way, did you know that Nightcrawler was supposed to be a Legionnaire? Cockrum, when he was with the Legion, was going to use him, but the powers of DC thought he looked a little too scary. And Storm was also supposed to be in the Legion, but she's actually an amalgamation of various characters that he wanted to put into the Legion. They just sort of combined them into one, but that became Storm. So if DC had done a little bit differently, their thought processes were a little different, Nightcrawler and Storm would be in the Legion today, but they are not. As we all know, when he went to the X-Men after he left DC, he took those creations with him, and the rest is history. All right. And supposedly he left because there was some kind of dispute over his original art. And again, that's how that occurred. Maybe that's a video for another day. But today I'm just going to do this comparison because it's going to take a while. Because there are, I think, 16 characters that have analogs with the Legion of Superheroes and the Imperial Guard. Okay? So I kind of started with the Legion guys, and because there's so many characters, I'm going to show you, try to show you a side-by-side comparison, but I'm going to go with the Who's Who of Legion and the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. All right, so the first one we're going to tackle is Brainiac 5. Okay, and here he is. You see, obviously highly intelligent, and the inventor of the force field belt and the flight rings, I do believe. And again, when Cockrum went to Marvel, I don't know if he wanted to sort of, zing DC or whatnot, but, he created the Imperial Guard, or designed them. And as you see, Mentor is the analog to Brainiac 5. Same kind of powers, intelligence, etc. And he also, I believe he also has some kind of devices and so forth. So that's the first one, as you can see on the chart. The second one is not going to be Wildfire. I ran out of space, so I'm going to go to Chameleon Boy. And there's Chameleon Boy. Obviously, he is a Legionnaire that can change his shape, right? And and look at this, guys. The comparison is Hobgoblin. And you can see very similar. They have the antennae. Look at the protruding shoulder pads there, or whatever those are. Again, just very similar. The ears, I mean, There's no doubt, right? And again, similar powers. So that's the second one, Chameleon Boy. Next is Colossal Boy. And Colossal Boy can obviously grow to immense sizes. I think later on he was changed so he can actually shrink to normal size, but he's normally colossal. But again, Cockrum took Colossal Boy over to Marvel, and he was then named Titan. And again, it's the same kind of deal. He can grow to immense size. So again, not much difference there. Next is Cosmic Boy, and this one will take a little bit of explanation. Okay, but there's Cosmic Boy, one of the founders of the Legion. And the analog to him is Electron. Now, Electron's primary powers are electrical, right? But he can set up magnetic fields, and Cosmic Boy has control over magnetism. So that is, and the costumes he used here, his is redesigned. Cosmic Boy's is redesigned a little bit, but his original costume that Cockrum designed was a lot like this one. So that is Cosmic Boy. Let's go on to Lightning Lad. And Lightning Lad obviously has electrical powers. There is his costume. Cockrum was slightly different from that, but in the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, we have Tempest. And again, very similar, kind of a reverse color scheme in a sense, but you can see some of the black there. And, you know, nearly identical powers. Okay, so definitely Tempest is Lightning Lad. And next is Guardian, and I'm going to show you, I didn't want to pull out another official index, so I put him here. Mon-el is and Superboy is sort of like is the analog to Gladiator, with a little bit of OMAC thrown in there, but you can see the cape, you can see the kind of the Superboy color scheme in there. Very powerful, similar powers. So again, Gladiator and Mon-el Superboy, take your pick. I think it's pretty obvious that that's who that is. Maybe with a little OMAC thrown in there for good measure. All right. Let's see who else we got here. Phantom Girl, and this is Phantom Girl here, but this is her redesigned costume, probably from the 80s. So I'm going to show you a comic which is a little closer to the look that Cockrum had, and I'll show you the analog to her right here. So that over there to the right, that's Phantom Girl. You see that costume, and there is Astra, and those are the two that Cockrum. Now notice the big flowing hair. Notice the little belt. It's almost identical, a different color scheme, but not, the belt is almost the same exact thing. I mean, there are some changes, etc. But the big flowing hair, the belt, and the absolutely spot-on powers, no doubt those are the same character. Alrighty. Next, we have Princess Projectra, White Witch, and Censor Girl. Okay. So, the Who's Who has Censor Girl as the next, as Princess Projectra. I mean, it's the same character, but she's changed her identity to Censor Girl, but that costume is really quite different from the one that Cockrum designed. So I'm going to show you a pretty good example of Projectra, Princess Projectra, and the White Witch is the sorceress, you know, but she also has some kind of mystical powers. But look at the boots. Look at the above the knee thigh boots there, the cape, the white hair. Again, no doubt this is kind of, and, you know, she does have her powers are more like the White Witch, but she looks a lot like Princess Projectra, so it's probably some combination of those two, Magic and Princess Projectra. Again, the same character, all right? All right, next we have Saturn Girl. And Saturn Girl, again, one of the founders of the Legion of Superheroes, along with Lightning Lad and Cosmic Boy. And there we have Irma Ardeen, I do believe is her name. And her, well, the analog to her in the Imperial Guard is Oracle. Right there. Okay? The looks are quite different, but the power, she's a telepath. And the costume, even the redesigned costume was quite a little bit different, although it's closer to Oracle. But those are definitely the same character. All right, next we're going to go to Shadow Lass. And Shadow Lass, I hope I got her marked here. I do. And there we go. There's Shadow Lass, can project darkness. And her costume, her Cockrum costume is a bit different. So I believe I found one here. Right. So I want to compare those to Nightside, which is the Imperial Guard analog. And there you go. As you can see, blue skin. And a costume which is kind of on the skimpy side. It is a bit different, but still, you can, and the powers are spot on. So no doubt, Nightside is Shadow Lass. Okay, next we have Shrinking Violet. And here's Shrinking Violet. Okay, now her Cockrum costume was a bit different. It was a lot more like the midget, which is the analog here in the Imperial Guard. She had those long pants, you know, but again, not really a distinctive outfit. So I didn't figure I'd pull that out so you're gonna see. But no doubt, same. They can shrink to tiny sizes. So midget and Shrinking Violet, the same character. All right. Next we have, who's that? Starboy, right? Is Starboy, right? Yeah, Starboy. And here's Starboy in his redesign. This was he used to have like this purple with a star on it, and Cockrum designed him so he had this Starfield-like costume. And the analog to him in the Imperial Guard at this point was called Quasar. I believe it was later changed to Neutron. His powers are, I think, are actually different. I think he's more like a super strength guy. But look at the Starfield costume. I mean, it is spot on, other than the yellow trim and the belt and the boots being a bit different. But, you know, the interior of the costume is exactly the same. So no doubt, Starboy and Quasar / Neutron, it's the same character. All right. Next is Sunboy. And obviously he has powers, heat, flame powers, and the analog to him in the Imperial Guard is Starbolt. As you can see here, very similar color scheme in the costumes. Obviously the face is a flaming here in Starbolt, but otherwise, you know, pretty much spot on powers, and that's definitely Sunboy. Starbolt is definitely Sunboy. No doubt about it. Next is Timberwolf. So you see here. And the Imperial Guard version of him is Fang. As you can see here. Again, costume has a similar color scheme. Kind of dark down the middle. Kind of a bland orange on the side. No doubt about it. That Fang is Timberwolf. And we're getting to the end here. Next we have Ultra Boy. And this is a kind of redesigned Ultra Boy. But his analog, and you're going to see that it's going to be No Doubt, because when you see that chest symbol there, you're going to say, wow, they got away with that? Yeah, somehow they did. Yeah, there is Smasher. And again, similar powers. You can actually change his powers. Let me see if I can put him this way so you can see the symbols side by side. Yeah, pretty similar symbols on the chest there, as you can see. Costumes are quite different, but again, the powers are almost spot on. So, No Doubt, Ultra Boy is Smasher. And lastly, the one that I ran out of room for, Wildfire. And I'm going to show you the Wildfire that's in here. But again, this was his 80s kind of up, you know, the look got changed here in the 80s. So I'm going to show you what he looked like back when this was actually a creation of, I believe this was a Cockrum creation, Wildfire, and his analog is Impulse. As you can see, it's hard. I should have gotten a frontal picture, but they have those big visors, and again, they can project them, you know, energy bolts from their faces. So there is no doubt that Impulse is Wildfire. And that, folks, is the comparison, and the obvious, you know, ripoff or homage or whatever you want to call it, between the Legion of Superheroes and the Imperial Guard. There's some other similarities. The Legion of Superheroes had flight rings. Imperial Guard have flight belts. Okay? The Imperial Guard did have some members that came later on, which were after Cockrum created, which don't really have analogs in the Legion of Superheroes. But the ones created right after he left in the early to mid 70s, and when he took over the art in X-Men with Chris Claremont, no doubt about it, those are the Legion of Superheroes taken over, brought over, homaged, ripped off, copied, whatever you want to say, over to Marvel. Why he did it, I can't say. He might have been upset, you know, with DC at the time because of what I told you about that little disagreement they had. Although he came back, I believe, he actually had a problem with Marvel then, but then he came back to Marvel later on. So I don't know the ins and outs. I don't remember all the specific details, but it is so obvious that these are the same teams, just on different publishers. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, my giveaway is going on. I'll have an update this Tuesday. Check out my video from August 20th and pick a comic for me to hunt for you. And if I find it first, then you got it. All right? So anyway, be well, everybody. You know the score. Be blessed and be back.